Law enforcement agencies at the local, county, and federal levels are joining forces and taking aim at criminals running guns and drugs here in Buffalo.
News 4's Dave Graber and chief photographer Chris Broadbent got the exclusive opportunity to witness firsthand how SWAT teams are working to take back the Queen City streets.
Don and Jackie, there's little argument. Buffalo has a gun problem. And as the city heads into the warmer months when violence tends to spike, local law enforcement leaders tell me they're concerned. But they also have a plan of attack.
5, 4, let's go. 1, execute. Go, this way. Let's go. Yes, man. A6, go.
It's the first step in what will likely be a lengthy legal process for the husband and wife who live at this Grider Street home, accused of dealing drugs and guns across Buffalo.
Put your hands up high, put your hands up high.
But for Erie County's SWAT team, this moment is the culmination of months of work, weeks of surveillance, days of planning, and the efforts of multiple agencies to bring down an operation that's been poisoning the Queen City for at least the past year.
We'll make a foot movement. Our breach is going to be on the south side of the building.
On a recent Friday morning, the county SWAT team, the FBI, and Buffalo Police gave News 4 exclusive access to show the work and precision required to bust what turned out to be a family affair involving a husband, his wife, and the husband's father.
This is a couple of months of very dedicated surveillance and really putting our work in.
I don't see his car, which is a little odd.
DJ Granville is Erie County's chief of narcotics and intelligence. He's been in law enforcement for more than 23 years, spending most of his time targeting street drugs.
We're a pretty active group, our narcotics unit in particular, and we're lucky enough to have good working relationships with other law enforcement agencies.
Data provided by the city shows their collaborative efforts appear to be working. Shootings in the Queen City soared at the start of the pandemic, but have since dropped, especially in the past year. As of last week, 75 people had been the victim of gun violence this year. 20 of them died. Most city officials say are targeted or retaliation. The day after 6 people were shot in less than 12 hours, Buffalo Police Commissioner Joe Gramaglia pointed the finger at repeat offenders.
This is some of the common problems that we're dealing with our gun crimes, is dealing with previously convicted felons who are in possession of handguns again. It's obviously we have a handgun problem. We're working very diligently on this.
Raids like these couldn't happen without sincere coordination among law enforcement agencies at the local, county, state, and federal levels. In this case, what was expected was exactly what was found. In a matter of minutes, 2 homes and a business were hit. The subjects of the investigation were exactly where they were supposed to be. No injuries to either side, no crossfire, no resisting.
The whole point of surveillance is to not get made. So we've been out there for weeks now doing what we're doing. And in the hopes tomorrow when we execute these warrants, everything's where it's supposed to be.
Karan Virgil Mack and his wife Brianna and Karan's father, Desmond McLeod, were all arrested on a variety of felony drug and gun charges. This team's success rate isn't 100%, but it's close.
The planning process is very in-depth, and you can plan for something from A to Z and have it completely scripted, and come game time, things change. You know, the best laid plans don't survive the first shots.
You can see the cameras kind of looking at us there.
We won't divulge specific investigative techniques, but a variety of arrests and confidential informants led to ground and air surveillance and undercover drug and gun buys to verify intelligence. Every detail is cross-checked, every step intentional and meticulous. Here's how it works. In the days before, Erie County's Air One helicopter circled the city to get a bird's-eye view of the home on Grider, the illegal business on Clinton, and the apartment in the Langfield-Kenfield complex. Part surveillance and part intelligence that gives the county's SWAT team the ability to be intimately familiar with their targets.
Yeah, so the 2 teenagers were out yesterday. They were kind of messing around in this area here with one of the dogs. They're both holding one of the dogs.
It's early. 6 o'clock the morning of the raid. SWAT group leaders are reviewing their plans, highlighting every step and every possible danger.
Right here, there's a fence. So don't have a set of bolt cutters in case we get there and it's locked with a lock or a chain.
As the sun begins to rise, a quick run through to get familiar with commands, timing, and roles.
Please search warrant!
Less than an hour later, all teams from each agency are gathering at the rendezvous point. This morning, it's ECMC.
Our SWAT team's going to handle Grider.
Then it's on. Karan Virgil Mack is taken into custody at the house on Grider. Multiple guns and 5 pounds of pot are collected. Minutes later, Brianna is taken after her morning drop-off at school. A few minutes after that, Buffalo's SWAT team is clearing the illegal business, which fronts as a legitimate bottle and can redemption center. More than 10 pounds of pot and edibles are confiscated. By the time crews are inside the business, another SWAT team is busting through the front door of McLeod's apartment, where more than 10 illegal guns are found in a safe and tucked into a basement ceiling.
We have the ability to put the necessary time and training into these operations. Like you said, weeks and weeks of intelligence gathering for literally 7 minutes on target. But that 7 minutes can go really sour really quickly.
It didn't this time. By any measure, this morning's operation was a success.
You know, you talk about coordinated, well-versed officers going in, executing search warrants. No one was injured. The bad guys were not injured. The good guys and our citizens were all protected. Kudos to them.
Sheriff John Garcia is proud of the men and women in these specialized groups. But for the past 3 years, Garcia and others in law enforcement have been fighting a parallel battle. Brazen criminals and changes in Albany in the form of New York's new bail reform laws. He says it puts his deputies in danger. That tide is changing incrementally, and it's getting pushback from top Democrats, slowing change when law enforcement says it needs it most. Meaning Garcia and Grimaglia and their teams on the streets are about to get a lot busier.
We can't go through another summer of violence, and we're coming up to Memorial Day. We're coming up to the hot months of summer when people are going to be out. Kids are out of school. We need to do something, I mean, before the murders begin, the assaults, and we have to go and knock on parents' doors and tell them that their son or daughter's not coming home.
Now, these raids happen week in and week out, focusing on high crime areas all across Erie County. And each operation, there is a heavy emphasis on not only the safety of SWAT team members, but the safety of suspects as well. And another new approach is proving effective in addition to that. After most of these raids, officers go door to door talking to neighbors about what happened and answer questions. Expect to see more this summer. In the studio tonight, Dave Graber, News 4.